On today's episode, I am going to do a quick portfolio update. And to be honest, I wish I would have done this episode about 2 or 3 weeks ago when things were looking really good. But hey, so this is how the market goes. It's super volatile. We sometimes have some good times. We also have some bad times. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you how my portfolio has done. Overall gains, some of my top winners, some of my top losers, because there's always losers in the portfolio. So we have to talk about them, and just my overall portfolio sizing. There has been a nice amount of changes that I have kind of incorporated into my portfolio since my last update, and I'm also gonna hit some of those topics here. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and follow me on Twitch, where I live stream taking a look at stocks you want me to look at. So I'm super excited to do this portfolio update. This is a $93,000 portfolio right now, and this is for March 6th of 2021. Wow, I completely butchered that, but it'll be for 2021. So right now my portfolio has turned about $29,000 in gain, and since conception, right? And that was in November of 2019. So in about a year and a half, I have turned about $63,000 into about $93,000. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm really happy with those types of returns. So I have been doing these account updates very often. I do them on a monthly basis, but here are some just snapshots throughout time. So I do believe the first time I did this video, this portfolio update, was in June of 2020, and my portfolio then about 8 months ago was up about $5,000 only. As progressed in September, I was up about 14, and just 2 months ago I was up about 30,000. And it's pretty insane how the market pulled so much between September to late February, because from February's all-time highs, I am down about 20 grand, right? So it's definitely a big, I've seen a big pullback. But as you can see, compared to January, my portfolio hasn't really moved in forms of return. So I'm super happy to see that right now, right? Obviously, I hate that I missed that top, right? But overall, my portfolio is still looking pretty healthy in my opinion. So now, just a quick overview of my strategy and how I'm doing to get these returns. I'm not some super genius. I've just been studying the market for a nice amount of time and found an investment strategy that works for me. And the first thing is I'm an investor for long term. So for me, all the money I have in this portfolio is money I don't expect to see for the next 5, 10, maybe even 15 years from now. I also put money to work weekly. I always come here with an open mind. There is no one way to invest. And if anybody ever tells you there's only one way to invest, you should just stop listening to that person. You should walk away, because everybody has different emotions. Everybody is in different financial situations. Some people might tell you that you should only have 10 positions in your portfolio. Some people might tell you that, hey, you should have 100 positions in your portfolio. Some people should tell you you should just invest in a certain market. There's no right answer. All of those could be right. It just depends on how you're able to implement it in your investment life. So for me, I believe in a mixture of everything. I do a bit of growth stocks. Actually, a nice amount of growth stocks. Most of the stocks you're going to see are growth stocks, but I also like some what I consider value stocks. These are probably like some of the big players like Google, like Facebook, like Apple, like Amazon, or stuff like that. So I have a mixture of everything. Here are the main markets I hit. I hit the esports, the cloud servers, tech components, a lot of tech, cloud security, also some consumer products, some business products, and then obviously the e-payment and the e-commerce. These are the main markets. You would very rarely see me hit like the energy industry. You would rarely hear me see like the financial industry outside of like fintech, for example, but you wouldn't see me ever buying a big bank of some sort. So right now, my top 5 positions make up about 32% of my portfolio. I know there's certain investors that like to have about 25 positions, about 20 to 25. My top 25 positions make up 83.4% of my portfolio. And this is up. Last time I did this update, it was only 68.5. So now you guys can see my top 25 positions make a huge portion. They are the ones that really dictate how my portfolio moves. And the main reason it's changed since last update is because right now with this wholesale, I have closed out of a lot of positions and put my money to work on those positions I have more high conviction on. So that has helped increase overall my top 5 position size and overall my top 25 position sizes. My other about 25 positions only make up about 16.5%. So there's 25 positions that I have that are super, super small. Each position roughly on average holds less than 1%. So in theory, right, if I go to someone, I say I have multiple positions, I have about 50 positions in my portfolio, be like, Jose, you're crazy, you have too many positions, blah, 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 blah. Out of those 50, 25 pretty much dictate my portfolio. And the reason I have so many positions is I personally just enjoy looking at companies. I enjoy learning about them. I enter with a small entry position size, keep them, take a look at them. And then as I learn more about them, I decide, hey, I definitely want to keep you. I'm going to start increasing your position size. Hey, I don't want to keep you. I'm going to start decreasing your size. Another thing is very similar to how we've been seeing lately. When there's a big bull market, every stock is just overextended, overextended, overextended. At that point, it's very hard to find value in some of the stocks I like. So I start looking at other companies, start diversifying. But when times like today happen, or like this week where the market just crashes, or the stocks I like just crashes, it's like my main stocks are on sale. So of course I'm going to sell some of the ones I was less convicted on. And now that these stocks are no longer overextended for my taste, I'm able to really buy and buy and buy. So, and if you guys ever want to learn more about some of my financial education videos, make sure to check out my Patreon. I put weekly educational videos where I talk about my investment process, where I talk about how to read a balance sheet, how to read financial statements. And right now, if you sign up, I think there's already like 12 educational series or videos right now that I go very in-depth analysis on how I look at things and how I analyze a company. So make sure to check that out. All right, so now let's take a look at my top 5 winners. My top 5 winners make about $13,000 of my gains. So a little bit over 33%, about 40% of my top gains come from my top 5 winners. This is AMD. Celsius. Celsius is one we got in very, very early in this channel thanks to a Discord member. We've been in Celsius for I think like $17, so it's definitely been a winner. Sea Limited, same thing. We've been talking about this for a nice amount. We have Microsoft, we have Cerence. So these are my top 5 winners, and like I said, they make up almost 40% of my total winnings right now. We can see from my top 5 positions, there's a mixture of growth stocks. We have a lot of Celsius, Sea, and Cerence, and then we have kind of a slow grower like Microsoft, and we also have like AMD, which is a mixture. I want to say it's kind of gotten into the mixture now of a growth stock and getting close to a value stock, right? So tech value, right? And many people might not consider it a value stock or anywhere else, but compared to all the other stocks that I have, it's a nice mixture here. Then my top 6 to 10 winners make up about 7K. So just my top 10 winners make up close to, I want to say 66% of my total portfolio gains. And this is Disney, this is Roku, Square, Google, and PTT. And again, you see a nice mixture of growth stocks, a nice mixture of some might consider value stock, right? We have Disney here, we have Google, and for growth, we have Square and Roku. And then I even have a random one, PTT. So this is insane. This is the reason I have small positions. PTT was a position size that has given me so great returns. It has been a 3-bagger and has made it to my top 10 winner list. But if I may be honest, it's not a position I would have ever gone super, super big in. So even a small position size in your portfolio can be a huge mover in form of winners. So this is why I have a nice position in 25 stocks, and then other 25 have super small positions, because if any of those are a super big winner, they can make it in my top 10 winners list and overall move my portfolio. So this is why I say there's no perfect way to invest. There's no one-way method. There's nothing there. If there was a magical answer, everybody would be doing it. Unfortunately, it is time to talk about some losers. I do have some losers in my portfolio. Out of that 50 position, I have 10 losers right now. Right now, I have Ping, I have CuriosityStream, ACTC, I have Gravity, Unity, Datadog, Teladoc, Zoom, Plant, XLife, and Logic. These are my only 10 losers in my portfolio, and my total 10 losers make up about $1,400 in losses. So you can see, compared to my top 10 winners, my losses don't really define my portfolio. So yes, Unity is one of my favorite stocks right now, and it is down a nice amount. But overall, doesn't make much of a movement in my portfolio right now as a loss. Another thing is I have sold out a nice amount of positions. Like I mentioned, I sold out some positions to go a little bit stronger in some of my portfolios. Some of them I sold were losers, some of them were winners, and my total realized losses and gains for 2021 are about $1,500. So just my realized gains and losses make up more than my total losses right now. So again, these are my only 10 losses right now. I'm super happy how my portfolio is doing. Obviously, I am down about 20 from my all-time highs. I wish that would be different, but overall, my portfolio is still good. And this is why I love doing these portfolio updates. It brings me back to level, right? It shows me, hey, Jose, yes, you're down this much from the all-time highs of February. But if you take a look at it in the form of since conception, you're doing amazing, Jose. You're doing great. Your picks are doing move. They're moving. So that's a great thing, right? If you haven't done the portfolio update yourself, just go through the list, see how you're doing, see what isn't working. So now here are my top position size. You can see my top 5 positions are AMD because it's been such a big winner. AMD has jumped to the top because of the size position of its winning. And I'm not going to close out of that position, right? I'm just going to let it ride out because I don't want to pay taxes on the gains that I've gotten from AMD. C, Cerence, Nvidia, and Unity are my next 4, are my number 2 to number 5. These are my tier 1 stocks for 2021s. These are the ones I'm more bullish. Then you can see here, I have color coded. The ones in red are my top 10, are my 10 positions that are at a loss right now. Unfortunately, Unity is one of them, and it is a tier 1 stock. We also have Gravity, Curie, like we saw, Zoom, Teladoc, ACTC, Ping, Datadog, and PLTX. But you can see, right, Curie makes up less than 1% of my portfolio. Zoom makes up less than 0.75. Same with TDoc, same with ACT. Ping is less than 0.5% of my portfolio. Datadog. So my losers are not really affecting me much because these are the positions I kind of started off small. I'm kind of watching them, and it doesn't mean I'm gonna sell out. Curiosity Stream for one is one I'm really enjoying right now. And as I have already built up my tier 1 position size, I'm going to start moving on into other stocks. Curiosity Stream might be one that I might add on to. Gravity is one that's a loss or a lose right now. It's one I am thinking about adding. Twilio, for example, only has about 1.23% of my portfolio. One I'm going to add. But my first thing when I saw this bear market or this crash, I don't want to call it a bear market, but when I saw this crash in some of my stocks, I ended up moving out of them and going into those ones that I was super heavily convicted on. Like I saw it, C, Cerence, Nvidia, and Unity are my biggest winners, my biggest buyers so far, and they have jumped so high into my portfolio tier. I think Unity was like a 26 position size in my last update. It was pretty low. It's jumped all the way to number 5. Nvidia, I think, was like a number 14, 13. It has jumped to number 4. Cerence, right? See, I think these were all below number 6 or 7, and now they have made it to the top. So now that I've done that, now I'm gonna start looking at other stocks to continue to add. So this is my portfolio update. Obviously, I am not down, but it sucks that I'm down compared to my all-time highs. But when looking at the long term of things, I'm still doing great. I'm still super happy with my portfolio, and I can't wait to do another update in 2 to 3 months, in a month from now. But I can see this portfolio just growing in 2 to 3 months to some crazy levels. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. Like always, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Follow me on Twitch. Like I said, I do stocks you guys want me to look at. So take care.